All right, let's start there. But before we do start there, please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Again, all this stuff helps out the channel tremendously. It helps us get more people onto the channel, gets more of you guys to comment in the comment section, chatting up with Desku, and many other people that have been in the channel previously. It does help the channel out, guys. So please hit that like button, share it with people that you know that are basketball enthusiasts, because like I said, it does help us out in the long run, especially if we want the production, I would say, of the show to be higher, which I'm aiming for doing that. We definitely need your help in sharing the channel and getting more eyes and viewers on it. But no, enough of me promoting the channel. Let's get right into it. Denver Nuggets, LA Lakers last night in game number 3. Denver Nuggets win this game 119-108. Pete, I'll start with you first because I've kind of already said my takes about this series already. For people that have watched the previous videos, go and check them out if you haven't. But let's get your take, Pete. I know we haven't really talked besides texting each other, and things like that. But to the audience, like what have you noticed in this series so far? Well, hang on 1 second. I just want to make sure it is not going through. I want to make sure they can hear you. Dang it. 1 second. I'm sorry, people. This is an ultimate fail. Fail. God, I hate when it does this. Properties. All right, now try to talk now.
Hello, hello,
There
hello,
we go.
hello, hello, hello. All right, we good, we good, we good, we good.
Why is there an echo? Oh, whoops.
Echo.
All right, try now.
You got my voice doubled up.
Oh yeah, there you go. Now, no, now
Good?
you're good. Now you're good now.
All right. So for the Nuggets and Lakers, I mean, to me, Bernie, dude, it's pretty simple. I just think the Nuggets are a better team. Like I think they have a lot of things in their favor. One is continuity, right? I mean, this team has been together. I mean, they haven't played together as much as they should have over the years, but they have been together for years now. And in terms of NBA time, they're pretty like well seasoned as a team in terms of their play styles, meshing together. The real only exceptions are like some of the fringe role guys, right? Like Bruce Brown and who's the other one I'm forgetting? Aaron Gordon's been there for like a year. I'm trying to think of, there's one other dude I'm thinking. Oh, Christian Braun. I mean, he, obviously a rookie, right?
Yeah.
That being said, beyond just the continuity, I mean, they're a well-oiled machine, and this is kind of what we talked about in our postseason predictions. Is just the fact that this Nuggets team, man, their offense, they have a skill that is undeniable in terms of like I've heard other NBA analysts and commentators over the years talk about this, but one thing I'm a huge proponent of, right, is most of the great teams have like a absolute undeniable, this is what we're extremely good at. We have this one thing we can always rely on, and we're going to win most games if we ride this thing, right?
Yeah.
And for the Nuggets, it's really simple. They can always get an open shot, like constantly. It really does not matter who it is. They're going to get an open shot. And that's what you're seeing. Because like last night is a perfect example, Bernie. Jamal Murray is absolutely murdering the Lakers in the first half. You can't double him. You can't do that against that team because then what are you doing with Jokic, right? What are you doing with MPJ in the corner? You can't do anything if Jamal Murray is going for 30 in the first half. You just can't. And that is beyond the fact that the Lakers have, and Bernie, you know more than just about anybody, but everybody in the chat, most of you guys should know this if you've watched us for a while. I love LeBron. This is no shade at LeBron. You're kind of playing 4-on-5 on defense. It's just that simple. You're playing 4-on-5. He doesn't really run around and play like intense defense. He just can't do it based on his load on, the other side of the ball. So that being said, if you have somebody like Jamal Murray absolutely killing you, you can't double him and you're down to basically a whole defender on your team. So It's just a bad matchup for the Lakers. I said this to you before this series even started. From my opinion, I just didn't see how the Lakers were going to do it because beyond even the continuity stuff, beyond whatever you want to come up with, they don't have enough guys to match up with this Nuggets team. And it's not just straight up like the depth, the bench depth, but it's literally just in their starting lineups. There's too much to account for. So I don't know, Bernie. What are you seeing in this series?
I mean, basically what I'm kind of seeing in this series for the most part has been kind of what we talked about in our postseason prediction as to, I actually had called this Western Conference final, not to be like a guy that toots his own horn, but I called it and I said the Nuggets were going to win this series just because I just felt that they were, like you said and talked about, like it's a more cohesive unit. They've been together for so long. And, you kind of made a great point there. Like think about the players that the Lakers had to bring in and had to
Mm,
get acclimated to the Laker system. Like there's a ton
half
of
their team.
guys. Half their team is that way. And again, another player that has continuously killed the Lakers in this playoffs has been D'Angelo Russell. And I think he's another guy to me that I think he is a solid player, but at the same time, he his passing decisions, I feel like he does a lot of things on the offensive end that are good, but then it's just like what are you going to get out of him game by game? He's not consistently good on offense. It's like you're going to get
No.
some games where he's like, you know, 5 for 12 or like 5 for 10. And there's other games where you're going to get, which was like 1 for 6 or 1 for 8. Um,
Yeah.
Austin Reeves, consistently being solid as like a 15 to 20 point per game scorer, which is what you need from Austin Reeves. He played a ton of minutes and is not going to take a lot of shots. I think with the emergence of Rui Hachimura, I think he's going to get a bag next summer. And I've talked about my Rui Hachimura propaganda ad nauseum to you guys, and of course on this channel as well. I just feel like for a team like the thing that's different about the Lakers and the Nuggets is the Nuggets are going to try to get most of their points in their offense through 3 pointers, whereas the Lakers are going to try to get it more inside and try to get fouled at the rim. And there's a reason why you see the foul discrepancy a little bit in favor, or well, 10 free throws in favor of the LA Lakers. But at the same time, um, I just think the role players also, Pete, for the Nuggets have done really
Yeah,
well.
they're better.
And I know that to me, it's I'm kind of interested to see why Jared Vanderbilt is only playing 14 minutes.
That
Uh,
is the most unexplainable thing about this whole series to me, Bernie. I genuinely you just about in the same way you just mentioned Rui, your Rui propaganda. I have long been known for my Jared Vanderbilt propaganda on this channel. I genuinely don't understand it. I mean, he's an offensive liability to a certain extent,
mhm.
but that's not the problem with this team. Like I don't do you look at the Lakers and say this is a team that just like offensively I just don't get it. Like I don't think that's their problem in this series. I
Um,
think it's just it's a mix of getting the Nuggets out of their flow. Like the Nuggets are constantly in these stretches where they're putting up like, 24 to 8 runs. There's the 30-point first half for Jamal Murray. Like to me, I just don't understand why you don't put a guy like Jared Vanderbilt who can, he can close up a lot of your gaps on defense. He's so long, he's so versatile. I don't know. My propaganda is like put him and Rui out there with LeBron, AD, and Reeves and see what happens. Like, see what happens.
yeah. I mean, I do think that their offense is a little bit of an issue. Like if you look at like a couple of games, like I'm looking right now at their playoff series that they
Well,
have, like again, like the
it's an
Timberwolves.
issue when LeBron, yeah. LeBron and AD can't hit anything.
Yeah. Like, they're usually scoring in like the hundreds, right? Like the low, like, 108s, the 105s. Like that to
Hmm.
me is like what when a Lakers team is like really good. And they got to that box score, but I just think the offensive firepower for the Denver Nuggets is too much. And, you know, again, I talked about this before on the channel a couple days ago. We have to start and I do it for the Miami Heat as well. We have to start putting a little bit more respect on the teams that are going against the Celtics and the
Yep.
Lakers. Like it can no longer
Yes.
be this sort of like the refs are scripting it. It's a script thing. It's
It's exhausting. It's the
or
worst thing going on in
yeah,
basketball right now.
or blaming the other team. Like, let's just give credit to the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler. Let's give credit to the Denver Nuggets, Jamal Murray, Jokic. Like, those guys are playing so freaking hard right now, and you can see that Jamal Murray is tired of the noise. Like, the way that he's been playing the games, the way that he's been uh I would say, like, finding his shots. I mean, again, another night where Jamal Murray is 5 for 11 from 3 point land. Like, he's no Steph Curry by any means in terms of 3 point shooting, but the separation that he can get on his guy
Mhm.
to get an open shot is crazy. It's tremendous, and it's kind of one of those things where they need to start thinking about, again, like we talked about with your Vanderbilt propaganda. Vanderbilt has to play a little bit more on defense on him, and I just don't think that Dennis Schroeder can guard him. I don't think you
Mm-mm.
put anybody, like, definitely not D'Angelo Russell. Like,
Not
Vanderbilt
even a
has to be the
question, yeah.
primary defender on Jamal Murray because Jamal Murray can get a shot off on anybody, and he also has some post moves that he does on some of these guys too. Like, I remember seeing that one on the right hand block where Jamal Murray got Dennis Schroeder on the up fake. Dennis Schroeder jumps, and then Jamal Murray just banks it off the glass for a nice little 2 point shot. Like, those are, like, Jamal Murray's been playing tremendous, and I think Mike Malone had a great post game interview talking about how the media and people are just saying that he's damaged goods, or I don't know if it's the media, but maybe I need to re-listen to the interview. But talking about how Jamal Murray was damaged goods, he's not a good player, um, and really it's kind of awe-inspiring to see that people, like, it's no longer just Bubble Murray anymore. Like, it's not Bubble Murray. It's Jamal Murray. Like, and
Yeah.
it's no longer like, oh, this was only in the bubble type of thing.
Well, and I think honestly, I think that's the best part about this playoffs, in my opinion. I mean, we have the same four teams in the finals, right? In
Yeah.
the conference finals. Like, I mean, we have opined how annoying all the talk about how unimportant the bubble championship is, like, for a long time. Like, to
Yeah.
me, that's one of the dumbest narratives
Hmm.
in all of sports. Like,
Yeah.
to discredit what the bubble was is just ridiculous. I mean, they were all on a level playing field. Whether or not your team made it that far, whether or not your team was doing better in the regular season before the pandemic started, whatever, it doesn't matter. Those four teams were playing the best of the four teams that made it to the bubble. Only a couple years later, here we are, and it's mostly the same teams. The only exception, I mean, the Lakers are mostly a different team, right?
Yeah.
Besides AD and LeBron. But outside of that, this is the same group of guys, right? Like, these
Yeah.
teams are mostly intact. And when you think about that and you think about, like, the Heat and the Nuggets in particular, it just shows how biased so many people are against small market teams. And I know that the Heat aren't small market teams. The Nuggets are really the small market team of these four. But compared to the Lakers and the Celtics, right? I think if you're actually weighing apples to apples here,
Mm.
it's not 1-to-1. Like, the Heat
Yeah.
are a smaller market team than those other teams. And that being said, my point comes around here back to what you said, Bernie. You're totally right. Like, these two teams are so incredibly disrespected. And it's not even just the Heat, or not just the Nuggets and the Heat, but it's just, I'm trying to wrap my words around what I'm trying to say here. I think this, what it goes to show, Bernie, is just how little of these other teams people actually watch. Right. And I think that the
Yeah.
Nuggets are the best example of this. Like, I genuinely feel like we're seeing the true colors of how many people actually watch these games and not just listen to podcasts, not just read
Hmm.
Hoops Hype or whatever it is. Look at the player ratings on
Yeah.
2K, right? Like, the Nuggets have been this good all season long.
Yep.
Literally from the opening whistle of the season, they were this team. They played this way.
Hmm.
Jokic has been this good for years. Jamal Murray has been this good for years, minus his injury.
Yeah.
It just shows, man. Like, these dudes are really talented, and I find it really humorous that people are acting like the Lakers are. This is a shocking result. Like, they entered this series as a huge underdog. Like, in my opinion, they should have been.
Yeah.
Like I don't even get it. I don't know, man.
I just think it's because we're so used to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Now that the injuries have kind of subsided during
Yeah.
the playoffs, at least, like he's obviously one of the best. He can be one of the best players in the league. But I do agree with you, Pete. It's kind of funny, like looking back at and I kind of wanted to make that point too. Like the media, ESPN, Fox Sports, there is only a select handful of people that actually watch these games. And it is disappointing to see that guys getting paid millions of dollars, not the athletes, but the news reporters and the analysts or, quote unquote analysts and the people that are supposed to watch these games throughout are not watching the games. They don't take the time to watch a Denver Nuggets Thunder series that are during the
Mm-hmm.
they don't have they don't watch Timberwolves, they don't watch anybody. But I would say even the highlights of the teams that they are remotely interested in, like we saw during the second half of the season, the Celtics struggle the way that they're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Against the Miami Heat, and the same thing we saw with the LA Lakers for that little stretch. And well, I mean, clearly the media talks about them at nauseum, and the Celt like they talk about these teams at nauseum. So I know they will notice that a little bit more, but they don't notice the Denver Nuggets and the way that they run their stuff and how Jokic is. And even like I don't know if you saw in this game, like Jamal Murray was actually setting some screens for Jokic, and kind of
Mm-hmm.
trying to get him open. And it's actually some ingenious coaching by Mike Malone there, to get Jokic open on that 3-point shot that he hit over Anthony Davis. And really just creating space for Jokic to kind of do some things. They do a lot of good things in the Princeton, like a hybrid Princeton style offense, and
Yeah.
they do a lot of backdoor cutting. Like there's a lot of stuff, and the only reason why I know about it is just because we are, at least my team that I'm coaching is transitioning to that type of style of offense
Ooh, okay.
because we have
There you
that
go.
we have those type of players. Um,
Bernie Malone.
Bernie Malone. But uh, yeah, I mean, it's just like, and I do want to make that point because I can't remember what the ESPN lady reporter's name. I think it was Lisa Salters,
Yes, that's who it was.
and her, what was it? She didn't watch any Nuggets games, or she didn't some of that effect. I can't remember, or maybe she didn't watch
Whoa.
Jokic.
You'd never seen Jokic play live? Is that what it was? But she's like a sideline reporter for the biggest sports media
Yeah,
company on planet Earth. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know. It didn't make much sense. She was just very non-committal to saying she had watched a lot of Jokic play
yeah.
basketball.
Yeah, and I mean, this is kind of why, like, a guy that I watch and kind of follow a little bit more is like Cuffs the Legend. He was he kind of follows LeBron James. He's kind of like a LeBron James. I wouldn't call him a groupie, but he follows LeBron James. He knows about him.
Mhm.
He could be a groupie, if you want to say that.
I think he's
Um,
groupie-ish.
but I think he does tell the truth when it's not LeBron James. I think he does tell the truth a lot about these guys. Like I, quoted him for that Jason Tatum stuff that I noticed with Drew Hanlon.
Yeah.
I still think that stuff is true to this day. But I think he's one of those guys that watches the game, that knows about the game, and one of those guys that, like, to me, probably should be in this sort of like media role. I know that the media likes, there are certain people that they don't want anybody too controversial or to say anything that will, rock the boat. But I want those type, like a guy like JJ Redick to me is another guy that I would put in there. Um, who's the other guy at the? Oh my gosh, I mentioned him a couple days ago. Um,
Um, where
the
at?
ESPN
Works at ESPN?
works at ESPN is Tim Legler. There you
Mm.
go. I think like
Oh,
legs.
legs. Yeah.
Yeah, Legs
Like
is another
Legler.
guy that I would like give him the show, give him kind of that I would say, people like Malika Andrews, like those people, they're not into the basketball the way that these guys are. Like get people that know the game into these spots. And I know this is a rant far from what we're talking about, which is the Nuggets and the Lakers, but I do think we need to start having more of those people in the media and more of those people in these conversations, because to me, what and I really thought about it, like what makes the difference between like NFL commentators versus NBA commentators. I just feel like they know the game and they watch the game a lot more, and I just think that because there's 82 games that you have to pay attention to for each team, it does make it hard. But at the same time, I don't think it's as hard as people are making it. Like, just have separate divisions and have different personalities talk about different sports. I just feel like ESPN, because they're doing the cost, because they're losing a lot of money, because they have to spend all the money on the sports deals. Like, they're losing these personalities and people like that. And so instead of having like different people for different sports, that seems like they just want to do the Stephen A approach, which is, I want everybody to talk about every single
Yeah,
sport, which is just a
pretty much.
big, huge yawn fest. And I know, like I said, I know we're off the Nuggets Lakers conversation, but to wrap it all back, just because we are talking about the Denver Nuggets, put some respect on the Denver Nuggets name. They are one game away from going to their first ever NBA Finals, and look, they have the role players to do this. And I think for the Lakers, it's one of those things where the role players that they have are either too brand new, or they just can't make effect like they want them to.
Yeah, I mean, well, a couple things, last few things here. Like, I think the most obvious thing about this Nuggets team, excuse me, that's just completely underrated, under talked about, underappreciated, undervalued, is their 1 through 4. Like, their 1 through 4 is arguably one of the best in the entire NBA, regardless of just right now. But I mean, if you look at it, Bernie, like, people don't talk about them like that. They have Jokic, who's either the best player in the league or, second or third best. I would say he's probably the best right now. Obviously, he's still the last one remaining of the, consensus top 3 guys. Jamal Murray, I would argue, a top 30 guy. Michael Porter Jr. is, I mean, take him or leave him. People are, pretty all over the place with MPJ, but I think we're seeing, like, this is perfect MPJ right now. He's the third guy. He's getting solid minutes for them, but he hits his shots. I mean, he's a 6'10", 6'11" guy who can hit his shots. He can catch and shoot. He can, make his own shot when he needs to. That kind of stuff is crazy to have as your third guy. But then you go and you look at Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon is the best version of Aaron Gordon by a mile. Like, he's never been as good as he is right now, and it's because their system is so reliant upon Jokic, and Jokic opens so many doors for all of the guys on their team that he elevates the people around him. Like, he is, to me, the closest, and I don't mean it in any way to his play style, but what he does for his team, to me, is the closest to what LeBron was in the early 2010s, into the mid 2010s as well, in terms of just being an all-around impact player who elevates the level of play from all the guys on the court with him. Like, time and time again, those dudes are playing their premium level of basketball because what Jokic is doing. Also, second thing, I think we have a sneaky biggest loser of the year, Bernie. I think this guy has gotten away from what truly has been one of the worst seasons in the history of basketball. Are you prepared for this?
Let me know.
He's not a player.
Is it a coach?
He's a GM. His name is Tim Connolly. Mr.
Yeah.
Tim Connolly was the general manager of the Denver Nuggets last season, and he had been for years. He took a huge deal to go to the Timberwolves. He made the Rudy Gobert trade. He left the Nuggets, who are well on their way to winning a championship.
Yep.
He made the Rudy Gobert trade and left a championship team all in one offseason. I mean, we need to take a bow to this guy. That's impressive stuff. Like, all-time throw, all-time reverse card, Uno card. Like, he literally reverse Uno'd his own career. Like, crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too much other than he's chasing the money, man. And
I mean, he took the bag, and if that was worth it, yeah. No, I can't. I can. I'm gonna fault you anyway. Hey, you could have had a lot more money if you had just waited. Just waited a little bit longer with Nikola Jokic. You know what? Maybe if you're with Nikola Jokic, just stay there. Have you ever thought about that? Maybe just consider staying with the guy who's Nikola Jokic. I mean, are we serious? I love Anthony Edwards, but come on. Like, Rudy Gobert. He went there, he got Rudy Gobert, and then they're gonna go win a finals. Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's,
Love
it's
it.
kind of one of those things you don't know if grass is greener on the other side. But yeah, just the kind of final thoughts here. Denver Lakers. Uh, Again, it's clear to see that there's a lot of stuff going on in Denver, Colorado than we realized, or I guess the media realized, because we obviously saw it from a mile away. We watched this team. They're kind of one of those. I think the thing too, Pete, is I think that the Nuggets are kind of like that. The nerds like the Nuggets, and not to
Yeah.
disparage us or like anything like that, but they're kind of like that team that's like, well, yeah, they have all these pieces, but we, in the Lakers, they and the Celtics, they have the star players, they the
Yeah.
superstars, and
Dude, the Nuggets are the kid at the lunch table nobody wants to sit next to. Like, I don't really understand why that's the case. I
it's,
really don't get it. Like,
it,
I don't know why. I think it's honestly, it's as simple as people don't watch them. Like, that's really what it is, Bernie. Like, to me, you look at all these people that want to pick against them constantly. I mean, you had people who were. I'll never understand people who were saying the Suns were going to walk over the Nuggets. I mean, those are people who don't watch basketball. It's
those
that simple.
those are people that never saw DeAndre Ayton in the NBA Finals, I guess.
Those are people who see the name Kevin Durant and they say, he's literally, it doesn't matter who he's up against, I'm going to pick him. That's crazy. I mean, when you have literally nobody coming off your bench, you're going against the team who's been the best team in the league all season long. You'd think you might be a little less biased and nuanced in your takes, but it's not what it is. I think the Nuggets are just not popular for whatever reason. I mean, you have these guys who were bemoaning Nikola Jokic winning another MVP, right? Like,
Hmm.
there's going to be a lot of people who are going to have to make some big apologies on TV, right? Where's the Lord and Savior Joel Embiid? You know,
Hmm.
I mean, he gave up on his team again, straight up gave up the will to win, and to me, I think that's one of the things that's the most underrated about Jokic, Bernie. I mean, the dude he's an engine. I mean, he is literally there is no reason that guy should have as much gas in the tank as he does, but he clearly is putting so much effort and, care into what he's doing. I don't know, man. I love Jokic. I almost just cursed. I love Jokic so much.
Yeah, I mean, Jokic is a good player. I do think that he does need to work on his
I
work on getting in
know
a
it's
little bit more shape. But I
I
mean,
know it's big white European guy thing, but it's so Dirkish to me. Like, it took Dirk having literally the single most insane solo performance in the playoffs, winning that championship. What year was that?
2011,
2012, 2011.
2011.
That, it took that for him to get the
Hmm.
respect that he did. Like, to me, Jokic is in the same boat. Like, he's been doing this. This has been the same guy. It's just he actually has a healthy team around him, and now we're seeing what it looks like, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. And people, let us know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this series. Is it over for the LA Lakers? Are the Nuggets going to the NBA Finals? Let us know in the comment section down below. And also got what you guys think about the Denver Nuggets and the media bias that seems to be with these little smaller market teams. Like I said, we've seen it live in person with people like Mark Jackson, Lisa Salters, not watching Jokic, not giving Jokic MVP votes. Let us know in the comment section down below what you guys think about the Denver Nuggets and the LA Lakers.